Again, this meeting, we specifically invited only the alumni. So first of all, how does the leadership circle work? So this is a completely voluntary commitment. So if you are attending today, attended on perhaps for the leadership circle already on Friday, we want to honor and respect that kind of commitment. And it is a commitment not to the Geneva Learning Foundation, but to supporting your colleagues. So you can see some of the other key messages around that here. We'll be sharing the full slide deck. Let me see actually if there's a way for me to do that right now, but I don't think so. Just get a PDF out so that I can share this with you, and so that if you are a Ukrainian speaker, and I believe this is especially important because the cohort that is starting tomorrow is in the Ukrainian language. So let me just make sure here that you're getting the latest version. Now, what we mean by recognition and mutual support now for the leadership circle. So basically for anyone who's interested in and willing to support, we offer a range of options. I'm sharing the the bilingual slide deck. So if you click on this PDF, you'll be able to follow along. Now, let me share also a download link. It's almost the same link, but not quite. And so that recognition and mutual support includes all kinds of options. Today's meeting is not focused on any of those. It's really focused on only the options in relation to the upcoming cohorts, the peer learning exercises. The first one that is up is starting tomorrow. So there's a very short-term opportunity if you'd like to support your colleagues starting as early as tomorrow. So the options you see here in terms of recognition and mutual support we'll be following up with you on all of those. But today we're really focusing on this invitation specifically for the alumni. So really it is that we would be honored if you would consider joining the second or the third Ukrainian language cohort, and then the English language cohorts that are coming up in the English language cohort that is coming up in November. Now, the options are guide, mentor, or facilitator. So I'm going to explain what each of these means. So if you are a guide on the side, if you decide to volunteer and commit to serving as a guide on the side, you can join one or more sessions to listen in. You can share your experience during sessions. And then there are three optional components. First, you could share your reflections and feedback in writing after one or more sessions, and then we'll share that with everyone in the cohort, and this can be really helpful to others. We'll, of course, recognize and acknowledge you as a contributor to that cohort. Second option is to propose a session in which you share your expertise and experience. This is a very experienced group amongst the alumni for the inaugural cohort. So if you would like to do a session to share what you know with others, that is an option if you elect to, if you wish to serve as a guide on the side. Third option is to review works. Remember, we have case studies, and some of them do not receive peer reviews because colleagues do not honor the commitment they made. So there's an option also to review works and contribute, go into the peer review platform, and or just give your feedback to Word documents so we can share that back with people who have not unfortunately received feedback, who've been let down by their colleagues. So that is the guide on the side option. And that is option one. Option two is to serve as a mentor. So here, this is the option in which we would connect you with one or two new learners, and your commitment would be to meet with them. And there are really different ways to do it. Ultimately, we'll trust you to find the way that works. But what has worked well in the past for mentors is to agree to meet one or two learners at a key points during the exercise. So you know when that is. It's after the days 2 and 3 when learners are busy working on their case study and have to get it done by Friday. When people are going into peer review or finishing peer review, and then when they have to revise their projects. Or you can also agree to make yourself available in the way that best suits you both. So you can really tailor and figure out what's best for you and what's best for them. And it's optional to be on call to respond to your needs. You also need to set boundaries for that. So that is the mentor option. So if you wish to become a mentor, to serve as a mentor, That's what this short briefing today is about, and we'll strive to finish by 30 minutes unless there are many questions. Third is to serve as facilitator. So this is particularly important, not just on days 2 and 3. So their alumni are invited to join to facilitate and take notes during the group work. Remember, we put everyone into different groups. There needs to be a note taker. So you can volunteer to be that note taker. You've already done it, so you can save the group a lot of time and help the group really do a better job focusing on the case studies and completing the note-taking templates. Second option as a facilitator is to join the technical support sessions. Now, of course, a lot of this is flexible. If you can only join one technical support session, that would be great. We would welcome your participation. And then you can be there on hand. If somebody is really about to lose it, they're really thinking of giving up on the exercise, and they hear from you that you had problems, you faced challenges in getting that initial case study done, or had some kind of problem with the platform, hearing from you that you were able to do it is something that can be very powerful. Third option as a facilitator is really peer support. So the peer support sessions themselves. So you can listen. You can also encourage others to share their own experience. We saw that with the inaugural cohorts. It takes a little while before somebody raises their hand or speaks up. So you can be there to really encourage others to do it. Don't do it for them, because this is a new cohort. They need to really share their experience. But it's also a super important role, especially if you have experience with child protection, with safety and security issues, to make sure that best practices are adhered to, and to gently but firmly come in if you see that there are issues there. So those are the 3 roles. I'm going to stop here first time and just ask if there are specific questions or comments. And most important, if you think that one or more of these roles is of interest to you, really, please say so in the chat. If you are interested in serving as a guide, as a mentor, or as a facilitator, if you could type that into the chat in Ukrainian or in English. And again, you will have as much flexibility as you need. If you can only come in for one session, that is fine. We'll talk a little bit more about the requirements. And then the upcoming cohorts. Now, there is a question about the dates for the English one. So, but the 2 Ukrainian cohorts, those are the dates, I believe. And so for Ukrainian speakers in the room, of course, you're welcome to consider your availability. If you know that you're going to be on vacation during those days, then this is probably not for you. And if for the English cohort, it is going to be mid-November. Just have to double check those dates, but that should be about right to make the decision if this is something that might be of interest to you. And again, this is about supporting your colleagues and also continuing your learning. It's an incredible opportunity. Alumni who've done this in other programs have really found it helpful for their own continued professional development. Of course, we recognize and honor that participation through certification, through recognition in various ways. And we also then invite some of the facilitators, mentors, and guides to serve more formally into in the exercises and in the program more generally. Okay, thank you, Yasmina. So as a guide, and okay, and we're looking at the different options. All right, wonderful. And I realize we know this group. You'll need time to think about it, and that is fine. In fact, that is really one of the key messages I want to share with you, is to reflect on your voluntary commitment and to say, be realistic about what you're able to do in over a short period of time, but still, it's better to pick one specific contribution. And we also know this is not for everyone. Some people will be too busy. Some people will say, well, I don't see how I could volunteer for this, and that is fine. But we know that we want to offer this opportunity to everyone. So what we will ask you, first of all, is Understood. Ina, who says all the three, but I still don't fully understand my load yet. At least a guide. Wonderful. Thank you. And thanks. So first of all is you'll join the TGLF team. And we found that over time, people who have the experience of having been in our programs make outstanding facilitators, outstanding mentors, outstanding guides, because you've been through the experience, you've been through it. Now, in practice, we'll ask you to share feedback each Friday. So this is a short questionnaire, so where you tell us how you're doing and you tell us how the people you're supporting are doing as well, so that we can better support you. We'll ask you to attend, again, this is over a very short time period, over 2 weeks, but probably attend 1 or 2 of the team debriefs. And if you can't, we'll give you your feedback. We'll get your feedback by other means. And we do ask, because this is about supporting your colleagues, that you strive to be on time and really do everything you can to support your colleagues. So that there's a few things about commitment and availability, where we ask you to set realistic expectations about your time commitment. We always have 1 or 2 alumni who say that they're ready to do it all, that basically they're going to be 7 days a week focused on supporting their colleagues, but they also have full-time jobs and many have families, and so that is not a realistic option. So we actually really encourage you to think through a small and specific commitment rather than try to do everything. You're more likely to be successful. Now, we've also seen people who have really fully joined and committed and have done amazing work as a result. So you will know which one of those you are, but we do ask you to think about that. Then there is, of course, a responsibility with respect to communication and confidentiality, and in particular, privacy of participants and safeguarding personal information for everyone involved. There's also, of course, we think that this is an incredible opportunity for professional development, and we encourage you to remain open to new ideas and approaches. And then last slide is really about feedback and consistency. So, to recognize the importance of your experience and its value to new participants in the program, whatever your level of experience. If you've been through the peer learning exercise, you know what's going to happen and you know what it's like to go through it. So that's really what we're hoping to what we're hoping to tap into, so that you can find something that is fulfilling for you, that you enjoy doing. Don't feel like this is some kind of obligation, something that you have to do, but something that we hope you'll enjoy doing, and something that will deepen your engagement on these issues, that in ways that you will be able to take back tangible learning that will help you do better when you return to your duties of supporting children. One last thing. So if you were there on the Friday for the leadership circle introduction, and you may have seen this before in these slides, I think we've used several times in other places. We will be going into the full learning cycle next year, and that will be around really supporting practitioners to develop a small, specific project around the challenge that they're facing. So this is part of a continuum of action that is key to the Geneva Learning Foundation's model. So in 2025, be looking at what we call phase 2, and really implementation support, support to develop a local project to strengthen support to children. And there we will be actively recruiting facilitators, particularly for that stage of the program. And of course, alumni who have contributed as volunteers during this period on the peer learning exercise will know you, you will know us, and we're very likely to come to you and say, well, would you be willing to, would you be able to commit specific time to specific tasks for 2025? We'll be looking to recruit new facilitators, which is a paid engagement alongside the voluntary commitment, which is a lot more flexible, which is, we really then strive to accommodate you and make sure you're fulfilled. If you join our team, of course, as paid the staff or consultant, then we will be probably quite demanding in order to get the job done and make sure that learners really get the most out of the experience. All right, I'm going to stop now. We have 15 minutes, so we have ample time for questions and discussion. Would love to hear from some of you. Just to go back here. Let me see. Yeah, I don't think there is any one slide except the invitation to alumni. Yep, here. So I see there's some questions. Okay, wonderful to see already expressions of interest. And yes, indeed, we'll be communicating that by email. So yeah, so if you choose a facilitator, you'll have options. You can join. So for example, for this upcoming cohort, you can join on Tuesday and Wednesday, and everyone will go into groups. As an alum, you can be the one to volunteer to facilitate and to be the note taker. Now that's Tuesday and Wednesday. Starting Thursday and then Friday and onward, we have the peer support sessions. So during the peer support sessions, you have two options. One is to contribute to the technical support session. And really that's being there for people when they may feel like giving up, and showing them it's possible, telling them it's possible because you did it, and then trying to find the practical solution to their problems. And then you can also be there for the let me just show this slide again. Yeah, for the peer support session itself, to listen, to encourage others to share their own experience. So it's not so much to share your story, because in this case, we really want to create space for the new participants, but also to really encourage them, and then to ensure that best practices are adhered to. So those are the options, and we are definitely eager to find guides and facilitators and mentors for the English cohort. All right, Ina, you say you filled out a form sent to you about the next two cohorts, but you haven't heard back. Okay, we'll be checking on that with Tatiana, who's been following up. I'm not sure which form you're referring to, but we will follow up with you certainly. All right, are there other questions? Okay, and then let me just, if you would like to speak, we'll just, we're a small group today, so there's 16 people in the room, but that's already really remarkable. Now, of course, we're trying to provide the practical information so you can decide, is this for you? Is this something I have time for? Is this something that I want to do? Because the key here with these roles is really, it has to be something that you would like to do. And again, there are different time periods. So the upcoming cohorts, October, November, really depends on your availability, on how much, if you'd like, and will probably be easier to organize a more meaningful role for cohort 3 than it will be for cohort 2. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so I have not sent any links, Suzanne, so I'm not sure what you're referring to, but I think because cohort 2 is starting tomorrow, I'd like to ask Julia who will be facilitating that cohort. So she will be the lead facilitator. She will be, and then really the first alumni who's joining the facilitation team is Irina Steffen. So I'm inviting her to the panel. It'd be great to hear from both of them. We're looking for your questions, comments, thoughts. If you're not sure if this is for you, if you need specific information to make that decision, please, that takes the priority. But otherwise, we're going to hear Julia and then Irina, hoping Irina can jump over to the panelist side. Julia, please go ahead.
Hi, Reda. I'm sorry, today something wrong with my connection to specifically Zoom websites. It has not let me in, so I'm training from my phone. And it's lovely to see all of you and see that you're interested in further cooperation with the Geneva Learning platform. Could you please, Reda, could you please repeat the question?
Sure. Julia, well, what would you like to say to anyone in the room who'd like to join? So it starts tomorrow, but if people are available tomorrow or Wednesday, they can join later. There's really a lot of flexibility. But what would you like to say? Is this something you would appreciate? Is this something that would help you? Or is this something that would be kind of a problem or a hassle for you to have to deal with alumni coming in who want to be helpful? What would you like to say to them?
of course, I would be delighted to see people joining us to support us. I understand that it's kind of a haste considering that the first session, the live session, is tomorrow. So it's totally okay if you can join, for example, as an observer to see how it goes, or you can just text me privately in Zoom or just send me an email about your role. It's totally okay if you would prefer to be an observer, but it also would be perfect if you can join the breakout rooms, answer the questions. So you probably remember yourself a few months ago when you first were sent to a breakout room asked to discuss a case study, how you were lost. So I would appreciate your support in that. And of course, then later, if you would like to take on more leading acting roles, that's sorry, someone is speaking. Yeah, so then we have a lot of peer support sessions and technical support sessions, and also some thematic sessions if you remember, so psychoeducation, techniques to work with children, etc. That's all that I would be delighted to share the responsibility for with you. Over to Irina, I guess.
Wonderful, Julia. Yes, Irina, and warm welcome to you, Irina, because in a way you're the very first of the alumni to join the TGLF team. So warm welcome to you, and we hope to welcome more of the alumni to the team. But what are you feeling coming into this, having been a learner, a participant, but also having a lot of experience and expertise in the realm of education? What's on your mind? What are you feeling? And what would you like to share with your fellow alumni?
Yeah, I'm longing for it. I wonder if I can do it together with you, Julia, and do it like a real super team, like shoulder to shoulder. But at the same time, I can say, well, the guides and whoever is participating on the side, like definitely the first and the most important thing is to, I'd say, to involve the participants, so the people who came here to study. So I think me and Julia, we're going to do our best to somehow encourage the participants to speak out. But at the same time, sometimes it can be so because it's Ukraine, you know, whatever can happen. So people can, I don't know, like electricity or internet connection or whatever might happen. We never know. So it is very nice that we have guides who are always ready to jump in so that we don't have to wait, like, please, is there anybody who wants to share something? So, and for the guides, I think this is very important to be always attentive to what's going on during the session so that they could just take the topic and go on with that very topic. That's it.
Thanks very much indeed, Irina. All right, we have 6 minutes left. We love doing these very short sessions, and we find that we can do almost as much in 30 minutes as we can in the much longer engagements. Of course, you remember days 2 and 3 you are the longest times where we get together synchronously. Let me share. So I think we'd like to share. And all right, I'd like to ask, I know we only have 6 minutes left, but it'd be important for you to hear from Charlotte. Charlotte coordinated our accompanist program for several years. So this is a program in which participants who have successfully completed at least one course or exercise were invited to then support the new cohort. Typically, a little bit more than half of the alumni who, when they finish one exercise, volunteer to help the next one. We're seeing a smaller proportion with this program. But Charlotte, what would be your 3 top tips for someone who would like to help in this way to support their colleagues who are joining one of the new cohorts?
Thanks, Reda. For me, the first step that would be very useful is that empathy. So being able to put yourself in the shoes of the learner, especially considering the fact that they are where you have been before. It means you were once a learner, maybe some of the challenges that they are facing, you face them. And so if you were able to overcome, and most often, many people, what they need is just a word of encouragement. At times, the challenge that they are facing is not so much of a challenge per se, but it's really that they feel that it's too much and they want to give up. So they may just want someone that would tell them, you can do this, just hang in there. And so that empathy. Secondly, make sure you are up to date. It means that before you are helping somebody to do something, ensure that you have all the information. You have tried it yourself and it has worked, and then you are able to guide them on how to use it. The third thing is follow up. So once you have, maybe if you have reached out to respond to a request made by someone in Telegram, and so it's good to go back to them to find out, did they succeed? Do they need more help? How can you help them again, or that you are always available if they need help? So just to summarize, again, the first thing is empathy. Put yourself in the shoes of the colleague. The second thing is practice. Make sure you know what they're asking you, and you know how to do, you know where to show them what to do. And then the third thing is to follow up. There are many other things I can talk about, but I think these three are very useful. Thank you, Reda.
Thanks very much indeed, Charlotte. So believe it or not, I've just had a complete failure in our studio, so I'm able to talk to you via another machine, but we have a few minutes left. Would love to know if there are additional questions. We'll be sending out the information for tomorrow's sessions for anyone interested. So we'll send that to everyone. There'll be a link so you can fill out exactly what you are interested in joining and when, and how you would like to contribute. Of course, if after listening to this, you decide that you're not in a position to contribute, that is fine. And then in that case, you can safely ignore the next message. Going forward, of course, we'll be communicating primarily with the people who have completed the form for this time, and then coming back to the group to ask who will be interested in supporting the November cohort with more lead time, because we realize for various reasons, this is very last minute. We hope to do better for the November cohorts, but really appreciate it. If again, this has to come from the heart, this has to be something that you would like to do in order for it to work, and please be realistic about what you are able to do. It's better to commit to one small task or one small contribution rather than to try to do everything. And whatever the size or scope of your contribution, we really, really appreciate it. And most important, I can tell you that colleagues coming in, knowing that someone who's taken the exercise before is willing to help them, is willing to take their time to be there for them, makes a tremendous difference and really brings to life what we mean by peer learning. So unless there are additional questions, all right. Yes, so we'll share the schedule. That was Hamza's question. And where can we register? We'll be sending the link after this meeting. Any other comments or questions? I believe you're all able to unmute. Yes.
Reda, I just wanted to add that for our Ukrainian-speaking colleagues, also you are in the Ukrainian channel on Telegram. So most up-to-date and relevant information is also shared in the Ukrainian channel for those who are interested in starting to support as from tomorrow. That's cohort 2 in Ukrainian.
Yes, and so what could be interesting, we'll have interpretation in English, but only for the first hour. But if you are an English speaker and you'd like to hear firsthand how the Ukrainian cohort does on the very first day, you're sort of getting started sharing around one specific case in plenary, you will be able to do that. And that is something that we can offer the alumni, that otherwise the cohort is closed. No one who has not received a letter of acceptance is able to join. Yes, we have one person who's unmuted. We're listening. Okay, and who's muted again? Okay, we're at time. You know, we pride ourselves on Swiss punctuality, so thank you very much. We hope this has been a useful information briefing. We'll share the slides, the link to confirm your interest, and also just in practice, the schedule for the second cohort, and we'll share the link with more lead time, so you can have more time to prepare for the third cohort in Ukrainian and the second cohort in English. Once again, thank you and goodbye.